Hey guys, Ashley here with, I feel as though that I waited a little while long enough. Because, you remember the, video I made about how you can ask me anything? That's, this is basically my first Q&A video. So, yeah, I didn't get really that many, questions. So, I'm just mainly gonna go by what they basically, well, asked me. Well, the people who asked me. So, if you still want to actually ask me anything, then I will put a link in the description. Or you can actually ask here so that I can actually see exactly what you guys want me to answer. So without further ado, let's pretty much begin. This one by Dragon God Slayer 2000 asks, "What is your favorite game?" Well, pretty much the main series I'm mostly into is Pokemon, and well, I do like the spin-offs, but I also don't mind Sonic. I used to play that game series, and let's see, what else did I actually play? Oh yeah, there was also some Sega spin-offs, such as Superstars Tennis. Seriously, that's a really good game. Is actually a pretty good crossover. I really do wish that Sega would actually bring out another All Stars game. It could be whatever thing it is. I think they could actually make an RPG out of this. I mean, heck, there are actually other games that actually make RPGs that involve crossovers too. As long as it has like a good story and a good setup, then maybe it ought to do something. So yeah. From Envy the Homunculus asks, I got a question. Was I stronger or psychotic in the original FMA series? Basically, that's O3 he's talking about, I think. If so, then, well, I'll answer this one. Envy, you were pretty strong, actually. You weren't that psychotic, but kind of creepy, I have to admit. You know, some points. I mean, heck, Envy has proven to be a lot stronger in O3 than he was in O9. Seriously. The guy was calm, collected, and he was able to handle his own fights without having to rely on his shape-shifting powers. Half the time. So, yeah. Seriously. Whether it's the old series or '09, Envy is still an awesome character, and I still love him even to this day. Seriously, he's awesome. And, okay. From Multi PS3 Gamer, hey Sam, asks, okay, this was when I reached my 200 subs, and he's got a question for me. If you were to choose Dragon Ball Z character fight, that's a spelling error right there, between any universe, what characters would they be, and explain how the fight would go? Well, I haven't watched Dragon Ball in a long time, honestly, so I'm not really sure exactly how far we actually gotten, but I can actually recognize some of the Z series and even a little bit of GT. Yes, I did watch that, but not very much. Well, I would say that involved Frieza and Cell. They would actually team up, but instead of pretty much the GT, they would pretty much kind of start off with seriously. So, this one apparently wishes to destroy the planet I was planning to destroy. Oh, he is going to have another thing coming. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking of a bridge Frieza. And then, well, you got Goku and Vegeta, basically, and of course the other Z Warriors. And something about, um, of course, they're going to be exploding buildings and civilians getting killed or badly injured. And, well, let's just say that fight would definitely turn out to be quite epic. And it forced down to, well, two Super Saiyans going up against these two foes. Because I do remember Cell and Frieza. That's basically, about it. I couldn't really think of anything else because, well, again, Dragon Ball is not really my series to go, honestly. I don't mind how they honestly do the fights and all, it's just that, well, Come on, when you actually go with a series where people honestly just shout and scream like 10 minutes or up to 20 while the villain's just standing there not planning any counterattacks, yeah. So, yeah. And this one is from Karina. She asks, from best to worst, what are your ratings on both homunculi, both FMA series homunculi? Well, this ought to be quite a bit long, but I'll try to keep this short, honestly. For my worst, I will begin with Brotherhood because, well, honestly, the homunculi there, they didn't really have much characterization out. Honestly, I am not... Also, I'm going to be using the dub version, not the actual dub of the show. It's just that I dubbed these characters myself. I actually came up with that. Okay, least favorite of them is Salim Bradley, pretty much the pride of Brotherhood. And I really didn't like his character, honestly. I mean, don't get me wrong, he actually does have an interest in power, and also he does live up to what he is, arrogant and all, but he is just so sadistic, and I really didn't like him. I mean, I didn't buy the fact that he pretty much was playing too innocent. Be like, okay, this kid is definitely up to something. I am not going to get anywhere near him. And he pretty much ate gluttony. Yeah, I know it's not really that fully disturbing, but geez. I know that there's a fanfic where they actually try to redeem him, which I'm actually okay with, so I guess he has a little bit of redemption there, but still, I really wish that Ed had just killed him off. But then again, if he did, we wouldn't have that story, so I guess that's pretty much that. Also, just how he really doesn't care about his fellow homunculi, which is really, really selfish, honestly. I mean, seriously. And also, he ate Kimberly. But hey, he got his comeuppance later. So, there's that. Let's see. There's also, Sloke, which is the sloth of the series. It's a joke on Slowpoke, but he's not slow as in movement. He's slow in the brain. Honestly, he doesn't have a character. His only character trait is that he doesn't want to work, and the fact that he's always tired and all. So if you guys pretty much like my dubbing over him, then feel free to leave a comment on what part do you honestly enjoy about that. Seriously? Do I have to do this again? I better get a bigger vacation after this. So yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on him. I mean, if they had fleshed him out, then maybe I could have actually liked him a bit more, but as of what we got, Another, I basically would have to say I was not really the biggest fan of Lust in that version. Or as I dubbed her as Rave, which is a shortening for Raven, and the Raven is associated with death. So yeah. You guys can refer to her as Lust. I'm gonna call her Rave because of that. Now, she basically, she had potential to actually be an interesting character, and she's the only female homunculus in Brotherhood. At least all three had the advantage. They actually had more than one female. Honestly, I kind of question Brotherhood's gender ratio. I mean, the cast, honestly, I get it. There are basically those who basically fill out the roles pretty well, but still. And I did like how they easily kind of kept their power pretty much the same. And, well, I really would have liked to see more of her relationship with good old Envy, but it actually worked better in 03 because we actually do get to see them hang out and actually have some good conversations. But get this, in the manga, they actually had some talking, but it was actually kind of a teasing slightly, which is kind of it's kind of sad that they did not add some of those into the anime. But anyways, she was mainly just a henchwoman. She didn't really do much, and she was pretty much a lot more bad. I'm not saying bad as in character-wise fully, even though clearly she didn't really show much, just that she was just the first to be killed off. Not really going with Greed because he does come back, but still. So, yeah. It's really sad because, well, hey, pretty much when it comes to these homunculi, it really feels as though that she could have actually lasted a bit longer. But nope, we had the anime, and therefore, yeah, you get the point. And, Brotherhood, I basically would have to go with, there was also Gluttony. Sure, he had a little more character in that, and, well, he pretty much remained the same, except for the fact he seems a little more, sad comparison, but also kind of insane, because, well, he has a monster inside of him. You know, the fact that he's, as I like to dub him as, a Guzzlord. Seriously, a Guzzlord is pretty disturbing when you think about it. Pretty much, I actually didn't mind him too much. It's just that, well, they waited for a long while until, like, the final season of Brotherhood, where they did bring him back, but he didn't last for too long. He only lasted for, what, 3 episodes, maybe? And he basically was gone. Because, you know, Soleil made him. Irony at its finest. But, yeah. I feel as though they could have actually added a bit more to him, but not exactly. So, yeah. I still felt pretty bad for him, honestly. Oh, well. Next we have is, well, we have his Greedling. I know basically he's Greed, but still, you get what I'm saying. Honestly, he was actually a pretty interesting character. I actually, liked how he was in, Brotherhood, but he is no compared to the original Greed from 03. I mean, seriously, I will get to that guy later. And, well, I liked how he goes through a little character arc. Basically, he's in Link's body, and therefore he basically was in control for a little while, but then after he get his memories back because of, well, with Beto and all that, which, of course, led to a really awesome fight with, of course, King Bradley himself. And, well, let's just say he died a heroic death by easily helping Ed pretty much get the upper hand and defeating Father. I didn't really cry when he died, but it did pretty much feel pretty sad that they killed him off. I mean, seriously. Also, we don't get to see him interact with the other homunculi aside from just like Bradley or something. I mean, if he had an interaction like with Envy, I feel as though it could have been actually kind of funny. I mean, seriously. It would have been like watching two teenagers actually just, you know, just posing at each other or something like that. But hey, that's just me. And, well, also I will have to say this, honestly, I think in Brotherhood he wasn't fully that smart. I mean, not really that smart. I mean, 03 he actually had a better position. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight two lovely ladies, so I'm out of here. Yeah, he actually called Envy that, but it was actually just a joke, actually. And again, Envy made that face. He's like, what did you just call me? Seriously. If you actually watch that moment, you can actually see it for yourselves. Well, anyways, I think for now, I'm just gonna say that I did like Reeling until basically, of course, I didn't like how the fact that he wasn't that fully intelligent. I mean, for pretty much they were fighting Selim, maybe he could have just, I don't know, told Ed about his weakness and, heck, pretty much keep his ultimate shield up. I mean, seriously, he is the ultimate shield. Nothing can really damage him like that. Okay, and now we pretty much get to, well, Bradley. At first, I didn't really like him the first time I saw Brotherhood, but as I pretty much did it for a, reaction series, my appreciation for him actually kind of grew. I mean, I did like how he basically had his own character trait, his own, arc as well, slightly. But of course, there really wasn't too much to him. I mean, sure, we actually did get more of him, and we did get to see the human side of him. And he is the only homunculus that is unable to regenerate. I mean, seriously, one life, but he's still kicking. I mean, seriously, and he's really cool with the sword. I mean, seriously, he's really good with the sword. And, of course, let's not forget that was awesome how he took down that tank like it was nothing. I mean, seriously. Watch out, watch out, Raiden from Metal Gear. There's a new sheriff in town. Or pure in a way. And, of course, you have to admit he had an honorable, respectful death. Which, of course, I pretty much have to admit. Huh. So, basically, he did have someone he would rather pretty much have by his side. That's good to know. So, yeah, Bradley, he basically did actually was an interesting character throughout that experience. And, of course, he is really fast. I mean, seriously, it is stated, well, someone actually told me that he is the fastest homunculus, I think. Second would be Sloth, and the last one is Envy. Because, well, obvious. And last but not least, we got the good old shape-shifting palm tree himself, Envy of Brotherhood. Seriously, Envy was the sole reason I got to watch Brotherhood in the first place. It was all because of him. I mean, just his cocky nature and his kind of sadistic attitude, but at the same time, he's just basically an interesting character that, of course, you know he's terrible. He's psychotic and all, but the more I actually watched him, the more fascinated I became with him. I mean, not only is he really comedic in his own way, but he does have his logical reasons, like, what do you depend is what is a human? Or something like that. Also, boy, he could pretty much get a lot of jobs done and no one would never notice. I mean, seriously, he is a little errand boy. But after pretty much his sister got killed by Mustang, you could pretty much tell he was not at all happy about that. In fact, if you actually look at the scene, you could actually, where he's talking with Bradley, you could see that his mood really changed to sour. I mean, really a bitterness and even pretty much sorrow. You could pretty much tell that he was trying not to cry because, well, she was his only sister and that she pretty much cared about him. And, of course, you could tell that Envy had an attachment to her, along with Gluttony, and, well, you can't help but feel bad for the guy. I mean, and after what happened, he got extra work, and things just went pretty badly for him. I mean, he was pretty much doing fine when she was alive, and just things were going smoothly until, well, Mustang and crew had to get involved in stuff along with the Elric brothers. I mean, seriously, if you want your sacrifices, you best pretty much keep them under control. Or at least put them in a secure place so they don't pretty much try to escape or foil your plans. I mean, seriously, I know they're supposed to pretty much be the enemy, but come on, have some common sense, would ya? Also, it's actually kind of ironic the fact that Envy is a lot more nicer than Winry because he treats Ed pretty much with kind of respect in a way. While Winry, if you pretty much have seen Karina's video, you probably should know why. I will put a link in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But, anyways, I don't want to go further detail on why Envy of Brotherhood was actually very, very much of my interest in character. But you could say that his death really got to me. I mean, seriously, when I first watched that, I literally just cried, and boy, was it not pleasant to watch him get burned over and over. I mean, seriously. I really did not enjoy that at all. In fact, it was a torture porn to me. I mean, seriously, I get it. It's basically his comeuppance. He basically had deserved what he had gotten, but if Ed had just, helped him, told him that there's a better way around this than to kill yourself. Seriously, he could have actually taken Envy with him and started a new life. I mean, if all he wanted was to feel like he's one of them, because in actuality, Envy at the core hated himself, which is really sad when you say it. But anyways, I think I should get to 03 and then I will end it off there. As for pretty much 03's homunculi, honestly, they had a lot more characterization than you give credit for. So, yeah, but people who pretty much who say things about FMA 03, they really do not like it, honestly. They really don't like it. I have no clue fully because it's not like Brotherhood or the fact that it doesn't have a good story or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm more of a fan of 03 because I do like the content in it and, of course, the story behind it and its grittier nature. And, of course, that it's not always black and white. So, yeah. I guess for pretty much first homunculi we actually do meet, I actually think that their version of Lust was actually better characterized because she had this whole story arc going through where, of course, she basically starts off as a bad guy, but as you basically go on through the show, you actually see that there's more to her than we realize. I mean, seriously. Not to mention her interactions with Envy was actually pretty nice, and she even got her own episode where, of course, pretty much their philosophies and so forth. And, well, you can actually tell that Envy, even though it was an awkward situation, you can actually tell that he was actually worried about her. And, well, it pretty much makes you wonder which version you would actually see their conversation with, either it's dubbed or subbed, which you gotta admit, their conversation was actually pretty nice. And, well, when Lust actually was killed off, you could pretty much tell that, well, all this time she just wanted her humanity. She wanted to be free. And I guess on Rath's department, he basically gave her that. I know that people did not like Rath because he did that, but don't worry, I will get to that. Overall, I do in fact like Lust. She was actually more better characterized, and, well, I liked how the fact that she didn't fully use her sin to the fullest degree. While Brotherhood, you could pretty much tell that she was using her looks just to, well, get information out of Havoc. Seriously, poor guy. And next we got is, well, we had Gluttony. Honestly, he was basically the same, honestly, although I did feel more sorry for him since, well, you can actually tell that he was a lot more depressed and that he doesn't want to, well, hurt Ed because he was more distraught about the fact that Lust is gone. And Dante, the villain of 03, pretty much is like, okay, I've had enough of you. She pretty much reverted him to, well, his fully embodiment of sin, which is basically a mistake on her department, but hey, I'm actually okay with that because, well, she got what she deserved. Well, honestly, even though Gluttony is not pretty much insane like in Brotherhood, it can't help but the fact that you gotta feel pretty bad for the guy. Because he really did care about Lust. Well, and now we pretty much get to, well, my favorite of the 03, which is, of course, it's still pretty much the same. Envy! Seriously, Envy had a lot. Sure, he wasn't really shown a lot in the show, but you can pretty much tell that he had an importance in there. And I liked how his character arc was actually rather intriguing. Because, well, we actually get hints that he know this guy called Hohenheim of Light. And concerning the Fifth Lab gave us kind of a huge hint. And of course, it's mainly about hints and mainly, well, in 03, and you just gotta keep guessing and guessing about what is going on. I mean, how am I gonna, you gotta puzzle these together, put the pieces together, and then, well, Envy had a grudge against Ed and Al, mainly towards Ed, and of course there's Hohenheim, which of course I wouldn't really blame Envy for that. I mean, seriously, it felt really bad for him. I mean, if Ed was basically told about this from Hohenheim, it would make things really clear, and that Ed could actually talk to Envy, or at least get him to listen. Things would have actually turned around, and Envy would have actually, okay, sure, he would actually still have a bit of hatred towards Ed, but there would at least be something, like Ed says, Hohenheim didn't give you a life, but if we pretty much stop this now, me and Al can give you that chance. Or something like that. Also, pretty much, of course, I did like how there was was a friendly relationship and comrade theme with him and Lust. Although we didn't see much of that, but you see what I'm trying to get at? I'm not really good with these analyzations, guys. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. And, well, you can tell that I really felt bad for Envy, and I do not want to go on this video any longer, because if I did, I would stay here for hours. Overall, you just gotta admit that Envy in 03, he's calm, collected, and dangerous. But deep down, you can't help but feel sorry for him, because, well, he's been around for 400 years, and he's been manipulated, and you can't help but easily wonder, why didn't he just leave this horrible person? I mean, if she's gonna mistreat him, why didn't he just get the common sense and just leave? He actually tries to find his own person, try to figure out exactly who he wants to be, and not someone he pretty much was meant to be. Just saying. Now, as for the next homunculus, there's Pride. King Bradley of 03. Pride, he didn't really do much fully, but honestly, definitely what got to me is that, well, I didn't know for the fact that for the longest time I've seen the show, at least the first time around, I did not know that he was a homunculus the whole time. I mean, seriously, he was really good at playing the human part. And, well, that was actually pretty shocking the first time I actually saw that. And, of course, hearing what Martel says, one of Greed's friends, pretty much told Al that King Bradley is a homunculus. And, well, you can tell that he has like a kind of a sadistic nature to him. And, well, I have to admit, that fight with Mustang was also pretty awesome. It's a shame he didn't get to do much in the show, but give credit what's credit for. He definitely had me fooled. So, next we have is Sloth, who pretty much had an interesting characterization going on. I mean, sure, she didn't fully do much, but pretty much finding out that she was she was once Ed and Al's mother. And considering how that basically went around, it came full circle, you can pretty much tell that Ed and Al literally had to go through pretty much on how to deal with her, as well at the same time is like, oh man, can't believe this is happening to us, or something like this. I don't really know how to put it, but Sloth was actually interesting in the fact that she wants to start a new life, but even though clearly she, she pretty much just, okay, let's just say that I liked how basically that her role actually played out a lot better than, well, the Sloth of Brotherhood, Which, of course, you can actually tell that I pretty much had a lot more fun dubbing over that. So, yeah. Also, I did like the fact that she was like a motherly figure to Wrath. So, you could pretty much say that she still has her motherly instincts. She's pretty much the mother figure to, the homunculi. And, you could pretty much tell that Envy felt more comfortable with her, along with Lust. And, speaking of which, we also pretty much have, Wrath. Honestly, he was the second homunculus that got me into watching FMA 03. I mean, seriously, he was the cutest homunculus by far. He was definitely the cutest. And pretty much, you basically learn about him and basically how he and Azumi basically have their own characterization going on. And, well, you can't help but feel sorry for the poor homunculus. I mean, seriously, he basically had been through a lot. And, well, you could pretty much tell that Envy took it upon himself to actually go and get him. And, well, you could pretty much kind of tell the fact that that Wrath pretty much looked up to Envy as like an older brother, and therefore he wanted to become like him. You know, strong, independent, and actually get revenge on the person who abandoned him. Which is cool. Also, he pretty much can use alchemy. It's just that, well, he has a lot to learn. But boy, can he fight. As Chuck Conrad says, cuteness never looked so badass. Also, in Conquer Shambhala. I know there were scripts in there that were pretty much in there, so, I won't list them because, well, Karina, she herself actually had brought up those moments, so you can check her channel out, and you can actually get some information from her. Seriously, she's actually an expert at this. I'm not so much myself. And Wrath, pretty much he went with L to go reopen the gate, and let's just say that Battle with Gluttony was the best part of the movie. And, well, turns out Wrath planned to pretty much use himself to help Al get Ed back. And let's just say that moment, it literally made me tear up. I mean, seriously, I felt so sorry for Wrath. I know I basically, mostly in that movie, I felt so sorry for Envy. But I also felt really sorry for Wrath as well. I mean, Wrath, from what I could tell, he hated the world. He just pretty much hated existing like that. I pretty much can't blame him for that. I mean, overall, I'm just flat out say this. Can someone please give these two homunculi a hug? I mean, seriously, they really need one. Well, hang on. Alright, guys, I am back. And, well, and as for Greed, let's just say I liked him better. He was a lot more intelligent. He pretty much had a lot more of a smart idea to actually keep his shield on rather than, not keep it on. And, well, what mainly got to me is to liking him is that he helped change Ed's philosophy. And, well, there's a much more deeper thing about him is that he used to be Dante's lover. And, well, you could pretty much tell how that turned out. And all he pretty much wanted was to not be bound to someone who would use him as a puppet. I mean, seriously, it's pretty sad when you actually think about it. I mean, the homunculi of 03, you can't help but feel really bad for. I mean, sure, they were created by alchemy, but they're technically still human if you actually were to go by that. And, well, it's pretty sad, actually. I mean, in 03, they're pretty much treated as if they were, abominations when literally they themselves act more human. And they still technically have their human inside them still. They say that they have no soul. Well, if they had no soul, then how could they honestly have any feelings? Or at least their own sense of thoughts? Well, that's all I pretty much gotta say. I actually prefer the 03 homunculi because, well, they had a lot more time to actually develop their sense of characters. well, Brotherhood, of course, they only have a few who basically stick out to me that I like, but they just missed the opportunity to actually show more character. Instead, it's more focused on the main characters, which, honestly, of course, it's still that, but I really would have liked to see more of the homunculi. In fact, the only reason why I watched 03 as well as Brotherhood was to see exactly what these homunculi were capable of. And, well, let's just say it just made you wish there were more. I actually think that, I actually heard that there was someone who was actually going to make a series for the homunculi, which I would definitely like to see that. But anyways, yeah, this is Ashley, and I hope you guys like this. I'm sorry this video went on long, but I just really had to get my answers out. Honestly. For an FMA question, you can pretty much tell that it's going to be talking about the homunculi, and you know exactly where this is going, guys. Anyways, if you like this video, feel free to leave any comments below of what you would honestly like to ask me next. And, well, for the rest of you, I hope you have a nice evening or day, whichever. I'll see you all later. Bye!